What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. This is X-plore Costa Rica. Today, we're going to jump in and learn Costa Rica crime 2023. What's up, guys? My name is Jeff. This is my co-host and beautiful fiance, Liliana.
If you're new to the channel, please like or subscribe. We drop a video every Tuesday and Thursday with everything you need to know about visiting or living in Costa Rica.
We host a portfolio, some beautiful vacation rentals in and around the country. That website popping up on bottom, explorevita.com. We would love to see you down here. Get in, check it out. Again, we have some beautiful properties in and around Costa Rica. If you're thinking about visiting Costa Rica, get in, check us out. We'd love to see you down here. And with that, let's jump right in and learn Costa Rica crime 2023. All right, guys, let's jump right in. I wish today would be a little bit funner. We've talked about some really cool stuff, but today let's jump in. I know a lot of you guys are wondering, is it safe to come to Costa Rica? What parts should we avoid, and everything in between? So Costa Rica's murder rate, and I hate to use the word that, but we're gonna talk some truth today in this video. We're all about it on this channel, is 16 per every 100,000 people. It sounds kind of high. It does. I did some math. If you look around the world, guys, Mexico is close to 30 per 100,000 people. Belize and Colombia, believe it or not, two countries that I do feel pretty safe in, were around 28 to 30%, or 30, I want to say percent, 30 per 100,000 people. I went ahead, I jumped in it. Let's look at some American cities. St. Louis was 69 to every 100,000. Houston was around 16. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 18.9 per 100,000 people. So if we look at it as a whole, Costa Rica is a lot safer than St. Louis, than Colombia, than Belize, Mexico, and a whole host of other places. So what I always say is, hey, would you avoid going to Chicago? Would you avoid going to St. Louis, Tulsa? Absolutely not. I would visit all the places. I'm sure they're all beautiful and all have their own things to do in the area, but you need to use a little bit of caution and maybe stay away from some areas. So let's jump right into that. Got anything to say on that?
Yes, well, in our experience, in talking about our family being worried about us living in Costa Rica or traveling to other Latin countries like Ecuador. We went there just a few days. We came back from Ecuador. And you know, there's situations around the world. There's actually a current situation going on in Ecuador that is making it more critical to go and more risky. Although once we were there, or even just by asking my family that lives in Ecuador, they say that as long as you don't mess around trying to look for trouble, you're pretty safe. In countries like Costa Rica and Ecuador and other Latin countries that we depend a lot on the tourism, there's a lot of protection, a lot of safety around tourists.
Very, very, very true, and some good points.
And how do we feel around Costa Rica? We love our country. We love the daytime activities. We love to be around people. We love to see the good in Costa Rica, of course. So we never being or feel threatened about anything of the bads around here, but we also take our precautions here.
Very, very true. You're gonna see high walls, some razor wire. It's totally normal anywhere you're at in most Latin countries. So, you know, it just kind of goes back to, you know, it's totally safe. Don't get scared of the high walls of razor wire. We are going to jump into 3 areas here in a minute to where you do need to be extremely careful in the country. What I want to hit on is most of these problems you see on TVs, or on the TV, excuse me, they're all narcos or banditos, would be drug dealers or criminals, okay? So it goes back to, if you're playing stupid games, you typically win stupid prizes. That's anywhere in the world. That's in America. It certainly is anywhere in Central America and in Costa Rica, okay? So if you're out in Costa Rica, you're meeting the wrong crowd, you're doing the wrong things, you're playing stupid games, typically you're gonna win stupid prizes. The second thing to it, if you look like a target, you're probably gonna be a target. I'm gonna use an example. We were flying in from Ecuador. We were in Panama, beautiful airport. Recommend Panama City. It's just like Panama or just like Miami. Today we're talking about Costa Rica. There was a gentleman in there that looked like he had 20 pounds of gold chains on his neck. He looked like he had 30 pounds on each wrist. Granted, he was a really big guy. You know, something like that, you're probably going to have a lot more likelihood of encountering trouble because you're being very flashy. So I wear a bracelet anytime I'm in Costa Rica. We live here. I never have a problem with just a bracelet on. You know, if you're coming down with Ray-Bans, you know, okay, if you're in your car, wear your Ray-Bans. If, you know, you're on the beach, you're probably good. There are certain places where I would take off the jewelry and take off the Ray-Bans, just as if you were in a bad neighborhood in Denver, Chicago, Memphis, New York, Colombia, Belize, or in Mexico. So it really just goes back to one thing, and that's common sense. Don't look like a target. Don't play stupid games, because when you do, you typically win stupid prizes.
As a couple, we love to live a more of a simple life. However, of course, we love to go for fancy nights and all that. There are places and times where you can, you know, do more flashy, I would say. But when it's in Costa Rica, we're very casual here. So just enjoy that. I mean, you don't have to be too much to be in Costa Rica.
That's why you're coming to Costa Rica to live the beach life. Hence, you can see we're filming today. Yeah. It's real hot, it's real humid. I'm in a tank top, flip-flop shorts. This is how I go out in Costa Rica. It's why I like to live in Costa Rica. It's simple, pura vida. Yeah. So come down here, embrace it. You don't have to be flashy. And I promise you, when I'm at the airport, if somebody was to have problems on the airplane, I can point to the people. And typically, there's just one person that I can point to and say, okay, well, if anybody's gonna have problems down here, it's the guy that has 100 pounds of fake gold around his neck, because they don't know it's fake. So please don't look like a target. If you come down here, you do you stay in your own lane, you show respect. I promise you, I've been coming here since I was a baby. I've never had any problems. I've never seen any problems. And I'm sure you won't have any problems either. So let's jump into 3 places you do need to use some caution with, starting with San Jose. We call neighborhoods barrios in Costa Rica. So there are certain barrios that you need to be especially careful in. One of them, as a tourist, and I don't think we're gonna go through them all, because unless you are a tico or a tica, meaning you're a local, you're probably not gonna encounter most barrios in San Jose. Most people fly in to San Jose, they leave, they go on their excursions, they get around the country. The only exception to that would be downtown, or the red zone, okay? So the red zone downtown, if we look at it on a map, it's a geological area surrounding downtown. We go in the red zone during the daytime, never had any problems. The theater's gonna be down there. Downtown is part of the red zone, right? Did you want to get into that a little bit for us?
Yeah, well, downtown has this beautiful boulevard, pretty safe during the day, a lot of policemen, and you can walk for hours going to the shop, visit the museums and other things. They're very beautiful restaurants and theaters and all these. But when the sun goes down, you just start looking to go back to your house.
Other places.
Exactly. But yes, there is a red zone, and since the country is so little, you know, most of the times you need to drive from point A to point B, surrounding these areas. So it's not a big deal really, but when you're in San Jose, somebody tells you, oh, be careful with the red zone. It's pretty simple, and visually, I mean, you see where it is. There's a very beautiful part of San Jose where it's totally safety, and there is security, policemen feel safe just to walk. And you know, when there's people around, I mean, as soon as you see some sketchy situations, you just get out of there. But yes, there's a red zone, but the red zone is not the downtown.
It's surrounding the
It's
downtown.
surrounding.
True.
Yeah.
And so when we drive through, we have a lot of family that lives in San Jose. When we drive through the red zone, it would be like driving through a bad neighborhood in Miami or Chicago. You're simply just going to lock the door. So I don't want people to hear the red zone, you can't go through it. That's not the case. So during the daytime, it's probably not a good idea to be walking around the red zone by yourself if you're with a group of people. Okay, at night, I would highly recommend avoiding the area. But again, I mean, this isn't Afghanistan or something where you can't drive down a street for God's sakes, okay? So simply just lock the doors in and around the red zone. With downtown, I want to stress that what the community has done, like when we go see plays and concerts, you know, back in Denver per se, things are going to start later at maybe 7 or 8 o'clock at night. They're going to go until midnight. In downtown San Jose, things start earlier. They're going to start around 3 o'clock. They're going to finish before sunrise. That way there's a lot of law enforcement, a lot of policia. It's going to allow you to get to your car and get out of downtown before the nighttime hits.
Take the boulevard. These places, the people, they like to go a lot to see a lot of the culture and little shops. Is the Mercado Central is in the middle of downtown. So from there, just take the boulevard and don't get away too much from it. You'll see where it is.
There you go. Let's move on to number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2 is going to be Limon. Now, I want to stress something. If you are Googling Limon, you're going to see 2 things. You're going to see the city of Limon. You're going to see the city or the province of Limon. So both are next to. We're going to be Limon and Puntarenas we're going to hit on. Both have a city and both are a province. The cities are what you need to use extreme caution in. So let's jump into the city of Limon. Has a murder rate of 33 per 100,000. So in terms of what's going on in Costa Rica, there's a lot more of that going on in this part of Costa Rica. This part of Costa Rica is located in the Caribbean zone. You have to go through Limon to get to Puerto Viejo and all the other tourist towns that are extremely beautiful. They're extremely, I'd say they're safe, but you definitely need to be a little bit more careful than you do in other parts of the country. Do you want to hit on that?
We saw a lot of tourists going to this area.
True.
And what we've been told forever is that just don't stop in the center of Limon or hang out around here because it's not very safe.
That's true. So what we're going to do is before we leave San Jose, you have 2 ways to get to Puerto Viejo, which would be like the Mecca of the Caribbean zone. That's where everybody's trying to get to in or around that area. You can go through Cartago, through Terrialba. It's the old road. It's scary. It's intimidating, and it takes forever. Or they just built, well, I don't want to say just, about 10 or 15 years ago, built the new highway, and that runs from San Jose over to Limon. And then from Limon, you can dogleg and go over to the Caribbean zone or Puerto Viejo and the other tourist places that everybody's trying to get to. What we do is we make sure we have a full tank of gas before we leave San Jose. There are gas stations after Limon. I promise you, back when I first started going there, you had to stop in Limon. It was a little nerve-wracking hearing all the stories, and you can tell you're not in the best place in Costa Rica per se. But I promise you, there's gas stations after Limon. We just were there a week or 2 ago. Make sure you have a full tank of gas when you're leaving San Jose, getting over to PV, and then when you're coming out of PV, headed back to San Jose, make sure you stop, make sure you get a full tank of gas. Everything's gonna be A-okay. When we get to Limon, we simply make sure the doors are locked and we're not stopping. So those are our 2 rules when we're in Limon. You know, again, I'm sure a lot of people over there would call me crazy for saying this. It's different strokes for different folks. That's my personal opinion on the area. If I'm rubbing anybody wrong that lives over there, lo siento, I do apologize. This is strictly my opinion, okay? Moving on to Puntarenas. So if you're looking at Puntarenas, it's a beautiful area. It is a large province. When we talk about Puntarenas, this is the actual city and town of Puntarenas. So if you're coming to Capos, you're coming to Jaco, you're coming to Manuel Antonio, if you're coming to anywhere in this area, I am not referring to any of these towns, any of these villages. Puntarenas is north, about an hour and a half. The town is north, well, of Jaco, of Manuel Antonio. It's like 3 or 4 hours north, but it's a whole other highway to get to the city and town of Puntarenas. This is a third town I would use extreme caution, and it is a port town. So with Puntarenas, again, there are parts that we will stop. We've enjoyed lunch in Puntarenas, use the bathroom facilities. Really the place where I would recommend to be extremely careful is more downtown Puntarenas. We catch the ferry to and from Puntarenas to get to other parts of Costa Rica.
There is Paseo de los Estudiantes. You hang out a little bit to touristy parts of Puntarenas. But yeah, when we mention these areas, they're really in the suburbs, the certain neighborhoods. So yes, as long as it is touristy, there are plenty of local restaurants and a lot of very great seafood.
Very, very true. So again, this all boils down to, let's just kind of recap. So you got 3 places you need to be careful, use caution. Puntarenas, the city; Limon, the city; and portions of San Jose. You definitely need to use a lot more caution than you would other parts of Costa Rica. If you look like a target, you're probably going to be a target. You play stupid games, you're probably going to win stupid prizes. I can spot the people coming down here who I think, if somebody is going to have problems, it's going to be them. Don't be flashy, don't be flaunty. If you are going to go to the beach, put your stuff up at your hotel room. Don't leave your stuff out. Just be smart with what you're doing in Costa Rica. I've never had a problem. I'm sure you won't either.
Just a few cases that we heard from around is that just don't leave big packs of things in the car, suitcases. It's just rather, if you need to go drive a little bit, get it to the hotel and then go ready to the beach with just the necessary things, and always closer to you, your personal belongings.
As long as you use common sense, I'm sure you're going to enjoy your time in Costa Rica, just like we enjoy our time in Costa Rica. That's all we have for today. Like or subscribe our channel. We drop a new video every Tuesday and Thursday with everything you need to know about visiting or living in Costa Rica. That website popping up on bottom, explorevita.com. Again, guys, we host a portfolio of some amazing homes in and around Costa Rica. We would love to accommodate your stay. We'd love to see you down here. Get in, check us out. Until next time, Pura Vida. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.